Hey friends, this is episode 138 of the Faith Fitness Joy podcast. Today we continue the Creating a Healthy Lifestyle mini-series, and today is all about exercise. This is what most folks seem to think is the hardest part, but it's actually probably the easiest part. It's also the smallest of the three components of weight loss or body transformation efforts, which include mindset, nutrition, and exercise, of course. So today I'm going to give you the essentials of a comprehensive exercise routine and how you can create one that fits your schedule and one that you can enjoy. So grab a pen and paper, get your water bottle, and join me in today's episode of the Faith Fitness Joy podcast. This is Faith Fitness Joy, and my name is Rochelle Renee. Are you struggling to lose weight, love yourself, and reconnect to who you truly are? Do you wish for more energy and happiness? Do you seek a deeper connection to God, or maybe to grow spiritually? As a single mom working in a demanding full-time job, I felt exactly like this. I struggled with anxiety, depression, and I was in adrenal burnout. I felt like a shell of myself. I was working over 60 hours a week. I was stressed out and spread too thin. I was overweight and I struggled with body dysmorphia. I knew I had to do something really fast so that I could be a better version of me for my kids. Fortunately, I found the way back to myself. I regained my health, I lost weight, I transformed my mindset, and I found healing. Now, my mission is to help other high-performing moms accomplish the same. Faith Fitness Joy is all about achieving health of the mind, body, and soul. If you're ready to lose weight or get fit, improve your nutrition, and step into the happiest, healthiest, highest version of yourself, then Faith Fitness Joy is the podcast for you. All right. Welcome, beautiful souls, to another fabulous episode of the Faith Fitness Joy podcast. I am your coach and host, Rochelle Renee, and today's episode is episode 138 it is the third episode of the Creating a Healthy Lifestyle mini-series I've been doing, and today we're focusing on exercise. So before we dive in, as always, please make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons so that you don't miss future episodes. Thank you so much to all of my subscribers, and thank you so much for just crossing 2,000 subscribers today. I am so excited. Really appreciate all of you subscribing and spreading the word and helping others find the podcast. So also, if you would be open to helping me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers, please make sure you share my podcast or the YouTube channel with others, friends, family that you think would enjoy the show or benefit from all of the different things I talk about here. It's all things health and fitness, health and wellness of the mind, body, and soul. And last but not least, everything that I have been covering in this mini-series and will continue to be covering moving forward in future episodes of this mini-series are in my ebook. It's called Fit Phoenix, 6-Week Slim Down. You can grab the link in my bio on any of my socials, and it'll be the first link when you land in there, so you can get instant access and get started immediately. I'll also include a link in the episode description here on the podcast and the YouTube channels. So this ebook is designed to give you all the tools that you need to kickstart your healthy lifestyle. It's packed with great information, resources, and guidance. It includes all of the workbook materials that I went over, the different components around mindset that I talked about in the first episode, and also all of the information I talked about with regard to nutrition in the last episode, and actually a lot more about nutrition and intuitive and whole health, whole food eating that I covered in last week's episode. And it will also include everything I'm covering moving forward as well. And so you get all that you need. You get the workbook stuff I mentioned for mindset. So getting your goals straight, your why, your commitment to yourself, and then weekly meal planning. So you get 6 weeks of meal planning that you have available to you, grocery shopping lists, recipes, workouts, you name it, it's in there. So it's a really great resource. It's a really great tool to help you kickstart a healthy lifestyle and give you everything you need to lay a solid foundation. So tons of value at a great price. So make sure you grab your copy today if you haven't already. And all that being said, let's dive into today's topic. So as I mentioned, today is the third episode of the Creating a Healthy Lifestyle mini-series, and it is all about exercise today. specifically the essentials of a comprehensive exercise routine. In the previous 2 episodes on this mini series so far, I covered mindset and nutrition last week. So go check those other episodes out if you missed it and you're just catching up now. Those are episodes 134 and 136. If you're checking it on the YouTube channel, it's all under the Creating a Healthy Lifestyle series. And then there's the subtitles for the first one was Mindset Matters Most, and the last week was Fueling Your Body. So as a quick refresher to kind of get you up to speed for today's episode, if you're catching up, there's 3 primary components to weight loss or body transformation. That's mindset, nutrition, and exercise. All of this is 100% mindset. That's why I started with mindset, and I always reinforce it moving into the rest of the series and all of these episodes, because it is so important. It is the most important component of all of this. 80% food and 20% exercise. So for whatever reason, I know a lot of folks tend to think that it's like 90% exercise and 10% food. And I certainly did when I first started, many moons ago, when I first started off with my own fitness journey. But really, like I said, it breaks down kind of the way I mentioned. And if you don't have the mindset pushing you through the workouts, it's going to be a whole lot more challenging and difficult. And the same thing with the food. It takes a lot to control what you're eating all day, every day. And again, it really comes down to mindset. And since it is so important, and just to recap some of these core components of mindset that are really going to help with all of these things, right? Like pushing you through the workouts, getting you to the gym or to wherever you're working out at home, if you're working out at home when you don't feel like doing it, or controlling what you're eating every day when, you're not really feeling as motivated as always. So these things are going to help keep you going long term. And that's motivation, which is, your why. We talked about that in the first episode. Affirmation, how you speak to yourself, how you talk about yourself to yourself, the way that you talk, your words have power. Direction is another really important component. So that's your intentions and your goals. You want to be really clear about what you're doing, where you're going, why. And then integrity or commitment, right? You want to say, whatever you say you're going to do, you want to follow through on it. You are the most important person to keep your word to, if not other people, right? So honor your commitments to yourself as well. So the more that you put into all of this before you begin with any of the other components, be it the nutrition, the exercise, whatever it may be, the mindset and these components of it are really, really essential. And they're going to help you be in the long haul, do this for the long haul, not just, a few weeks and then, fall off of the proverbial wagon, as we say. So the mindset stuff is really the secret sauce. All right. So exercise. What does a good exercise routine look like? Well, it includes each of the following components that we're going to be going into today. The first one is strength training. The second one is cardio. Number 3 is active recovery. And 4 is stretching. So over the course of 30 years, I have tried all the things, including workouts. And it all started when I was about 14 years old, and I was fed up with being bullied about my weight at school and all of the different body image and self-esteem and all that stuff that came with that. And I was ready to make a change and figure out what to do to get to lose the weight. And so being that this was in the early 90s, to date myself, this meant that I was on a low-fat diet when I started off, and my exercise routine consisted of cardio. That was like my whole thing. It was 7 grams or less of fat a day and cardio for exercise. So I was doing this in addition to whatever I was doing, for PE in school, and I was following this diet. And I was using my parents' ancient exercise bike for about 45 minutes a day, every day after school. And then after high school, as I got older, I graduated to cardio kickboxing. So this has taken us into the late 90s, just almost around the 2000s, not quite there. I don't know if anyone else remembers Taibo, but that was like such a big deal when it came out. And it was this home workout video that you could buy. It was a VHS tape at the time. And so that was one of the first ones I started on later on when I kind of was getting back into this as I was, older and having left high school. And I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I still love cardio kickboxing workouts because of Tybo to this day. So thank you, Billy Blanks, for Tybo, and all of those home workout videos. So that's kind of what I was starting off with. And then I started mixing it up over time as I got kind of bored. So I was using like, my mom's old like aerobics, like Jane Fonda workouts and stuff like that. So that was the kind of stuff you had at that time, for home workouts. So that was, kind of what got me started. But after a while of doing that, I kind of hit that wall, right? Because the cardio is only going to get you so far. And, I didn't really understand that completely at the time, but I did realize like, I'm not getting the progress. I'm kind of like, my progress has slowed. So ultimately that led me to joining a gym. And that's when I first started lifting weights. So this was probably about 2001 or so when I started lifting weights. So well over 20 years ago now. And that's when I really started to see transformation with my body. And then the more I progressed with that, that's when I started to learn more and more about nutrition and all these other components that I'm talking about in this mini series. And so at the time, I still had a lot to learn, of course, because I was still, just venturing into weightlifting. And that, included things like learning about the importance of resting, and balancing weightlifting with other things like cardio and recovery and stretching. Lots of lessons learned the hard way. But 30 years of trying all of these different things has taught me to make sure that my workout routine includes all of the components that we're diving into today. And it's all kind of, led to everything that I, talk about in my ebook and my programs and here on the podcast. So all that being said, let's get into these components or these, the essential components of a really good comprehensive exercise routine. So the first one I mentioned is strength training. This is really, I think it's kind of king when it comes to exercise. I think there may be still a lot of lingering myths around weightlifting and strength training, particularly among women. I mean, I know when I first started off, I was kind of leery of it because I didn't want to get bulky. I thought that like if you lifted weights, you were going to look really bulky and more masculine and stuff like that. And that wasn't my goal. But of course that's not the case. You want to have something like lifting weights or some form of strength training. There's a number of different types and approaches you can follow. Weightlifting is one of them, of course. Body weight workouts are another great option. You can do that at home, and that can be things like push-ups and pull-ups and squats, and a variety of other exercises that are just using your body weight. Functional training is another great example. And then, of course, there's many, many others. And you can look up the different kinds of strength training and see, what might work for you. Because everyone has their preferences. Everyone has things that, they're not so crazy about doing. They might not be fond of. So find something that you think would be enjoyable for you or that would work for you. And then there's lots of video programs you can find as well. You can find a lot of great stuff on YouTube. I continue to try to build to my library. I have a lot of little short videos with form and things like that. And I'm actually going to be doing a workout pretty soon here for this free 5-day fitness challenge, back to school 5-day fitness challenge I'm doing in my Facebook group. So that'll be available and you can check that out if you're looking for something to kind of help you get started. But there's a lot of different stuff out there that you can find for free online, or you can find apps, different programs and portals that are, really affordable for like a monthly fee if you want to do that. And they have tons of workouts including strength training workouts that can help you if you're, just starting out and you want to work out at home. Or even if you're just, not really sure where to begin and you need some kind of structure to start from. So those are all great resources. But the point being with regard to strength training, weightlifting, if you want to transform your body, it's really important to include some kind of strength training component to your exercise routine. There's so many benefits to it. I've done episodes in the past talking about the benefits of exercise, particularly strength training. If you want to go check those out, I've gone more in depth about that, so I'm not going to repeat all of it here today. But there's lots of different options and lots of benefits. Ideally, you want to work every major muscle group every week. So you want to find different ways to rotate that out. And there's all kinds of different options for schedules that you can follow. So for example, let's say you want to do like a 3-day schedule for strength training every week, then you can create a full body workout where you're working every muscle group or every major muscle group through some sort of a full body circuit or something like that. You can do that 3 times a week. And you can alternate some form of cardio on your non-strength training days or something like that. But then there's a number of varieties of schedules you can follow if you want to do more. Like if you want to have more of like a focused leg workout or upper body workouts or things like that. So there's all kinds of splits, they're called. So 4-day splits, 5-day split, 6-day split. And again, you can find a number of schedules and even workout routines online and such. And there's a lot of books too. I have tons of books, different, about weightlifting, strength training, creating your workouts, like, if you're, beginner, what your workout would look like versus, if you're more intermediate and so on. So that's strength training. The second component is cardio. And there's a number of different types of cardio, and it's really going to be driven by a couple of different things. Probably actually several different factors. One of them is how much weight you have to lose. Another one is the amount of, or not the amount of weight, but the body type. Like, so if you have a body type like me, where it's generally more difficult for you to lose weight and you tend to gain weight really easily, then you might want to have a different cardio approach than somebody who, say, has a harder time putting weight on or gaining weight. Somebody who kind of naturally maintains a leaner body, and they might want to gain weight and they have a hard time gaining weight. Like that, the cardio for that person is going to look different than someone who, if your body type is like where I just described it, it's harder for you to lose weight. That's another factor. Age is another factor. Those are some of the bigger ones. Yeah. And then time as well, right? So how much time you have, how much time you want to spend. Some people totally hate cardio. Other people really like it. So finding something that kind of, helps you hit those essential components you need to get the benefits of it, but also factors in your preferences, your goals, and all of that, right? So what I will say, having learned this the hard way, okay, so I have personal experience with everything I'm talking about today and in all my other episodes. Being that I have a body type, it's often referred to as the endomorph body type, where it's harder for me to lose weight. I can put weight on pretty easily as well. So with that body type, having a little bit more to lose than somebody who might be, I think the other, like one of the other ones I think is ectomorph and mesomorph are the other two main ones. One of them is more like, they have a higher metabolism. They tend to keep a leaner body without a lot of effort. They have a harder time putting on weight, right? So I was following something that I think was designed for more of that other category where like people that maybe have a harder time putting weight on. So the whole thing was, do less cardio. The cardio is not going to, it's not helping you. That's what's causing the problem, blah, blah. Focus on the weightlifting. And I was very hesitant about that because I had been doing a combination of both for so long at the time that I came across this program. Long story short, it backfired. I followed it for about 8 months and it did not work out at all for me. And I ended up having to work really hard to get back to kind of where I was at before. So point being, if you have, I would say a good kind of general rule of thumb, and this is very general because it's hard to, there's not really a one size fits all answer. But if you tend to have about 20 pounds or more to lose, you need to include cardio. I would highly recommend, strongly advise against listening to something that says you should not be doing cardio. Because you have more weight to lose and you're going to need it to help you get the excess weight off. If you're in more of the 15 or 20 pounds or less to lose, then that type of approach might work well for you and you might have benefit from that, and it would be a good approach to consider following. Again, I'm just sharing what I've learned the hard way when it comes to that. So all that said, there's different approaches to cardio. There's steady state, which is a little bit longer duration usually. So this is something you're doing for about 30 to 60 minutes, and you want to be doing your cardio at about 60% of your maximum heart rate. So you don't want to be like way up high on your heart rate the whole entire time. You want to be at more of a where you can still carry a conversation is kind of a good general rule of thumb to follow if you don't have other means of determining whether you're at 60% of your maximum heart rate. If you do have like a smartwatch or a Fitbit or something like that, then basically you want to stay in the heart rate that would indicate you're in the fat burning zone as opposed to the cardio heart rate. Usually those watches will have two different, indicators for those. So that's one example with the steady state cardio. Another example is something like high intensity interval training. And this comes in the form of things like EMOM or Tabata. EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. And Tabata is just like another form of basically alternating between some amount of time at a high intensity. So you're like talking like max heart rate, going as hard as you can for maybe a minute or so. And then you're like doing another minute or so off, right? Depending on whether you're doing every minute on the minute or Tabata. So for example, with every minute on the minute, you're doing 40 seconds really hard and then a 20-second rest, and then 40 seconds really hard, 20 seconds rest, and so on for about a 5-minute block. And then you take like a 1-minute rest, and then you go on to do another block. So that's generally how those work. And then Tabata is more of like, 1 minute on, like maybe 30 seconds to a minute off, or some other type of up and down kind of a variation. There's a lot of different variations you can try with regard to high intensity interval training. One of the things to keep in mind with this is that these should not be very long. So you want to do these for maybe 20 minutes max. They should not really go beyond 20 minutes. And the whole thing with this is because you're doing this really high heart rate, dropping back down, going back up, dropping back down, and you're doing that for this window of time, whether it's, let's say, it's up to 20 minutes. The beauty of these is that that's all you need to do for your cardio for the day if you do these HIIT approaches, and you do them like every other day, every 2 days or so. And the reason is because you are going to keep burning fat for up to 48 hours after that workout. So they're very effective. They're very efficient with your time. So that's a great component, a great type of a cardio to weave into your efforts, along with things like your weightlifting and any other types of kind of exercise that you're doing on a regular basis. They're really going to help with boosting your results. So the third component is active recovery. That's kind of what I call it. Different people might have this term defined a little bit differently, but what I mean when I say this is rather than taking like a total rest day, you should have one day where you're not doing much else but stretching. But so my schedule, for example, I work out 6 days a week. So usually on Wednesday is my active recovery day. I either do it on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how I'm feeling. What that means is I will do some form of cardio or endurance training instead of like my traditional like lifting workout in the morning, and then like my, lunchtime cardio workout is like what my normal schedule would look like. So the endurance training is something like you're doing like a lot lower weight, but you're doing a lot more reps. And the idea is to really build muscular endurance and kind of get some of that lactic acid out of your muscles that builds up from your other more intense lifting workouts. So it's a great way to help with things like soreness and building up endurance in your muscles. So that's one approach you can use for active recovery. Another one is just to do, a longer steady state cardio workout at maybe a little bit of a lower heart rate range. So 60% max heart rate at the max. This could be something like doing like maybe a 4-mile walk that day or some other type of lower impact cardio. Just something to kind of move your body and help get some of that soreness out of your muscles from your other workouts that you're doing during the week. So anyway, that's kind of the idea with the active recovery workouts. Like I said, if you're doing like the endurance training type of approach for those, it's really to help kind of get some endurance in your muscles, help you do things for, maybe a longer period of time than what you might be doing if you're focused on like heavy lifting, for example, where you're not doing very many reps because you're focused on building muscle and lifting heavier. And then last but not least is stretching. So it is really important, and there's different ways you can build this into. You could have like a 10-minute stretching exercise routine or workout that you do in the evening every day, or you could have a dedicated day every week where you're not doing any other kind of, more intense activity or workout, just a day that you're doing your stretching. So like for me, for example, that's like Sundays, because my workouts are Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday I'll do like my stretching in the morning. I am trying to get better about doing these in the evening. So that's, like I said, it's another option. And doing them in the evening there's other benefits to that as well. It can help with managing stress. Like if you're doing like some type of a yoga workout or another type of stretching workout, and it's going to improve your overall flexibility, mobility, and help you unwind a little bit before bedtime. So those are the essential components of a comprehensive exercise routine. There's countless ways that you can structure this in a way that fits your schedule. So, for example, you could do your strength training first thing in the morning like I do, and it doesn't have to be very long. If you're just starting off and you don't have a lot of time, or you're trying to get used to, doing that earlier in the morning, you can, there's workouts you can find that are like 25, 30 minutes. So that's one option. And then you could do your cardio later in the day like I do, right? Like, so you could either do it at lunchtime, after work, whatever, just adding that in the evening. Another way is you could have like 3 strength training days and 2 cardio days, and then an active recovery day and a stretch day. So you could be doing something every day, but just alternating your cardio with your strength training, with your stretching, and just making it work with your schedule. Again, it could be 30 minutes a day. That's kind of a good, target, I would say, if you're getting started off, especially, because it doesn't have to be hours to start. You can build up to it. And I say build up to it because I would be surprised, like if you really get going and you really establish a routine for yourself and you're consistent, like let's say for like 6 weeks to 2 months, you're going to get over this hump where you're going to start to look forward to it. And you're going to start to like want to work out more. You're going to look forward to your workouts because of the way you feel after you do your workouts. So you might find that over time you want to add more and you want to do things differently and change it up. And that's the beauty of it. You can always do that later. So that's what I wanted to cover today, just to kind of lay the foundation about exercise. And in future episodes, we'll go into a little bit more about different ways you can structure your workouts, like honing in on strength training and some of the other, like the 4 different things we talked about today, doing a little more deep dives on these in future episodes. So the other thing is I am helping to share ways that you can make this feasible and fit this into your schedule and see how easy it really can be to make all of these 3 components with mindset, nutrition, and exercise work, kind of no matter what your schedule is right now. There's ways to integrate it in there. So I'm doing that in a 5-day back to school fitness challenge that I'm starting on Monday, September 9th. So a week from today. So get into my free Facebook group. It's called Faith Fitness Joy. I'll include the links to it, but you can also search it if you search in the search bar for Facebook, it should be findable, and then you can just request access to join. Just make sure you answer the questions, and then you can participate in the free fitness challenge. There's going to be great prizes as well, so you won't want to miss out on that. And if you refer a friend, you'll get an extra entry into drawing for a prize. So I'm also going to cover, like I said, everything that I'm covering in the miniseries is in my ebook. So grab a copy of that in the link if you want to get started sooner or follow along with the series and kick off your healthy lifestyle. So friends, that is all I have for you for today's episode of the Faith, Fitness, Joy podcast. We'll continue the series next week, and we'll dive deeper into some of these other topics I've already kind of laid the groundwork for, just to kind of give you some more tools and practical tips you can integrate into building your own healthy lifestyle. So follow along with the series to start creating your lifestyle, your healthy lifestyle. And like I said, if you're just now catching it, you can go back to episode 134 as kind of where we kicked it off. And then you can follow from that one and 136 and then come back to this one, and that'll get you kind of up to speed on where we are today. And like I said, if you follow what I've laid out in the series this little creating a healthy lifestyle series, or in my ebook, you will get results. You will find that it's easy to do this. You will find ways to make this work with your schedule, with your life, with your family. And I know this because I live by it, and I've been doing this for 8 years now. I started my current, healthy lifestyle and my routine after I had my youngest child. I have 3 kids. I'm a single mom, and I have been doing this for 8 years. So it's possible, it's feasible, and actually at this point, I don't know how I would do all the things I need to do without all of this. So, highly encourage you to look into starting it. And check out the ebook because it's got everything you need to help get you going. So you can grab the link in the description or in the bio on all my socials. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in today. I will see you on Wednesday as we continue with the Moving in Faith series that I've been doing on the podcast. And so with that, I will wish you all a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you all in the next episode of the Faith, Fitness, Joy podcast.